Before I start this review, let me tell you a story. A kid of around the age of 4 years old and his sister, being around 6 years old as well, visited their cousin Joseph. Joseph was about 11 years old at the time, and he owned a Sega Genesis and a Nintendo 64. On those game systems lied games like Super Mario 64, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Harvest Moon 64. Unknowingly to us at the time, those game franchises would be known as some of the most well-known series of all time. But me and my sister did not care. We were fascinated by a different game. We saw Bomberman 64, and this is really where my gaming journey began. The game didn't have the platforming of Mario, the speed of Sonic, or the complication of Harvest Moon, but what it did have was my attention. Welcome to a game unlike any other. This game franchise has been copied in so many iterations, with testing some different ideas here and there, but my favorite was always the one for the Nintendo 64. This game had ingenuity, creativity, and most importantly, nostalgia. I probably didn't do the best job of covering this in my Let's Play of the game, so I hope I do the game justice now. And also, I'm kind of doing a review for this game because we have the game footage already, so whatever the reason may be, I love the game, and let's get started. Let's start by talking about the 2D Bomberman games. The first Bomberman game was released in 1983 for the Famicom, or Nintendo Entertainment System, and honestly that's as historic as this review is going to get. But it's what you expected from a 2D Bomberman. You're placed on a grid, you have some enemies to defeat, you progress through the level, etc. You played one of these, you get the general idea. But with the N64, the classic game franchise started to transition into 3D graphics, and Bomberman was no different. The first attempt at this was Bomberman 64, and in my opinion, they did a damn good job. The controls were good enough for 4-year-old me to get used to, aka if any other members of the channel are watching, there's no excuse for you not to get it either. I'm talking to you, Pat and Mike. The objectives were easy to understand, different difficulty levels, and had enough exploration and hidden stuff to have multiple playthroughs of a pretty short game. The game also had 4-player support like the other recent Bomberman games that were released around that time as well. Let's talk about the level design, and as a warning, there's some spoilers incoming. This game was divided into 6 different worlds. One unlocked after getting all 100 gold cards, and there was 5 gold cards per stage, each of which containing 4 levels, so altogether 24 levels. Of these 4 levels in the world, there are 2 exploration levels, one of them being a mini-boss, most of them being Altair's minions, and a world boss. Some of these levels only require you to step on a switch to unlock hidden areas and continue through the world. Others require you to dodge traffic, climb ski lifts, destroying ski lodges as you go through the process, and travel into an active volcano. For innocent little Bomberman to do such death-defying stunts, you felt like a badass. Now let's talk about the bosses. The mini-bosses were the hardest part when young Nick was playing. They were quick, unique, and could use some of your own bomb tricks against you. These guys required quick thinking and required you to constantly be on the move. It wasn't until later that I realized you could throw them off the edge for a quick kill, but determination would eventually get you to beat these most fearsome foes. The world bosses, though, were equally as hard. The world bosses still give me trouble to this day as well. The ice spider would constantly cause frustration with his little spider babies, and the sewerfish always seemed to leave me with only a single log to fight on. Even with these obstacles to overcome, determination will definitely get you through once you figure out their attacks. Now, one thing that I really have to mention is the music for this game. You've been hearing the music from Green Garden so far, but here are some of the other music from the game. This music from the game captures the mood perfectly. Whether you're just starting off in your journey exploring Green Gardens or White Glacier, or about to face off against Altair in Black City, the music helps guide the mood of the game. No other piece from the soundtrack from this game does that better for me though than the credits music. Here's a little snippet of it. Most people I know would reference the credits from Super Mario 64 as being the best ending music, and it is really good, but honestly, it's second to this song always in my mind. The game isn't perfect though, and I hate to admit it. One of the issues I ran into a lot was the multiplayer. When you go through the multiplayer mode, and a lot of game elements are active, the game experiences a lot of lag. This is noticeable in a couple of the single player levels as well, and it's constantly there in the multiplayer. It also happens when you destroy some of the buildings in the Blue Resort levels, but overall, it isn't too bad. Another issue I had was the camera, especially on one of those damn ice levels. You people who have played the game probably know what I'm talking about too. On the third level of White Glacier, it switches the camera so you can see underneath. But I gotta ask, why? I would get the controls messed up all the time or just fall down on one of the harder platforming parts trying to get the gold cards. I think in the Let's Play even called it inverted because I just couldn't get used to the controls there. It was just all around frustrating, and that level remains one of my least favorite levels in the game. My mom told me recently that I wasn't even interested in video games until those trips that I actually went to visit my cousin Joseph. My sister and I have played those other games that I mentioned, and we really loved those Sonic games. Sonic also had a huge part in starting my gaming journey, but I credit a lot of it to what got me interested in gaming, to Bomberman 64. If you haven't played the game before, it probably looks like an unpolished, clunky, and unforgiving game, but I challenge you to look at it with the innocence of a 5-year-old. This game was the beginning of a journey to help me shape who I was to this day. These Let's Plays, podcasts, game reviews, and even the interest in starting my own gaming channel with my friends all started with this game. It may not be a top 5 game for me, but it will always hold a special place in my heart.